Welcome back to Risque Business News. I'm May.
And I'm Laura, and today we are going to be talking about maybe the only good man in business, Yvon Chouinard, the founder and former CEO of Patagonia.
I've heard a little bit about this. That's exciting.
Very exciting for me because I was expecting to get burned again. And guys, spoiler alert, I think this man's a good guy.
That's shocking.
Shocking.
This is very off-brand for us.
Holy crap, it is. But yeah, you be the judge. Enjoy.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold
from
on.
that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News.
Oh my goodness. So Laura, what's been going on?
Oh my God. Vibes are off.
Vibes are off.
We have been discussing this last week and a half. I don't know about you guys. Our vibes off.
I've been losing my mind.
Me too.
Like,
maybe like because it's like getting into fall and we're expected to like do things again. Is that part of it?
I don't really know. I mean, I just feel like every morning I wake up with like extremely high blood pressure and I'm like losing my shit.
I went to the doctor last week and my blood pressure was high.
Really?
And I was like, hello? I knew the vibes were off, but I didn't expect like in real.
Actually.
Like really.
You thought in like the astrological
Exactly.
sense. Yeah, that was
Exactly.
like Mercury's in a microwave or whatever the fuck people
Yes.
say.
Exactly. And they were like, no, actually your salt levels are too high. You should really stop eating so much.
Do you think it's from your diet or your stress? You would think
definitely stress.
all stress.
100%.
God,
That's
fuck.
on me, guys.
That's what's so bad about stress is like when you think about it, it makes it worse. But like you have to relieve your stress for your health. But then it's like this stress is making you stress
yeah.
about that, and it's like crazy.
It's the first time I haven't gotten like 100 at the doctor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually when I go to the doctor, they're like, wow, you're super healthy.
You are the bionic woman.
Oh my God, you take your vitamins, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, mm-hmm. And this time they were like, whoa. And I was like, oh, 30s.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not to brag, but they do go nuts over my cholesterol. They're always like, this is exemplary. They fucking love my, like, every single time I go to the doctors, I'm like, you test the cholesterol? What'd you think? Pretty good, huh?
Pretty good. I don't know. Maybe you want to bring one of those nurses in here, share it with the class.
They're like, yeah, we actually didn't test it. You came in here for a cold. I'm like, you just need like an ego boost. I need someone to test my cholesterol once every few months. So they're like, you have exceptional cholesterol.
You're just feeling low and you waltz into the doctor and it's like, I'm back.
Yeah, with the perfect cholesterol.
Cool. Well, my streak has been ended, so now I have to continue to avoid the doctor. Like the plague. Anyway, so I hope your vibes are better than ours. I know also we have like literally nothing to compare about. That's the other thing. I'm always just like, I live a blessed life.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe be grateful for a second. Then I get stressed about not feeling grateful
Right,
enough. and here we
right.
are.
Oh, it's a disaster.
Anyway.
Okay.
So actually, this was a really fun story well, we're going to do some banter topics first, but I will say this guy, his vibes, not off.
Yeah.
So it was a fun one to review and just be like, man, it's possible to have
Yeah.
it all. And he
Okay.
did it. But first, we're going to talk about some stuff that happened in the news. I have 2 stories, the first of which... Now, this just made me laugh. You remember Nirvana's
Yeah.
Nevermind?
Yep.
Well, the baby from the photo on the front
Right.
of the album...
The little tiny dick.
Yes, the tiniest ween has sued the band again about having child pornography
Okay.
and that they made a lot of money on said child pornography. And most importantly, that
buying it for the fucking child pornography. Like, let's relax.
I think most importantly, he was upset because he did not make the money off said child pornography.
Right. Yeah.
So this just happened. This has happened a couple times now. This guy continues to sue the record label regarding the album, and it has been dismissed again. So now he's appealing the dismissal. Spencer Alden told NPR, arguing that the judge had misinterpreted the federal child sexual exploitation law.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Known as MASHA's law.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah.
Wonder who Masha was.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure probably
Sounds-
a way more serious situation than like naked baby on the cover of Nirvana.
Right.
But then obviously he's like citing the fact that they made a lot of money off of this. And then
That's true.
They did. I mean, I don't even hate him like getting a buck.
Sure. Yeah, he should have just gotten his parents made a horrible deal, whatever they did.
Yeah. What was it, like a stock photo?
Yeah, right. No, I think they took obviously like a photo shoot for it, right?
Okay. A lot of questions about that. So let's go back in time and imagine someone walks up to you and you're like, nice infant you got there.
Yeah.
What if I threw it in a pool? Naked.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if it was like one of these like classified ads. It was like, do you have a child under 6 months old and you want to toss him in a fucking pool and then have a photographer take photos of his tiny dick?
And all of Craigslist is just like, oh boy, do I.
All of Seattle's like, yeah, I guess. Here's a brain buster for you. So I'll be honest, I heard this asked on another podcast, and whatever.
We're just taking other people's work here. That's what we do.
So somebody wrote into this other podcast asking if you, like, let's say there was photos of me as a kid in a bathing suit on the internet, and people that are into child porn were like jerking off to that photo. Do you think it's weird to like sell those photos to people that are into child porn? Because that girl doesn't exist anymore. She's me. It's not like it's harming a real life child, even though it was me in the 90s. Like, you see what I mean? It's this really weird blurry area.
Wait, so you're selling pictures of kids who have now grown up?
Selling, yeah. Like, no, like here was the thing.
Okay,
like, so
I'm so far, I don't think I'm understanding this correctly because
Okay.
I'm pretty far off. No.
Okay.
So far, my answer is no.
So this girl that wrote in, I think it was Guys We Fucked, by the way, great podcast.
great.
But she wrote in and she asked them, she was like, so I'm making money on the internet selling photos of me as a little girl as in a bikini.
Of herself.
Of herself.
Okay, I was like, other kids?
And
weird. That's
so
weird.
She was sending that out and like getting money for it. And like she was like, on one hand, like I'm distributing child porn, but it's of me. And then the other hand, it's like maybe that's preventing some child porn to be created.
Oh.
You know, if it was just like, here's me in a bathtub, go fucking
like
nuts. I'm 32 now.
It's like vintage.
Vintage.
That's terrible.
Oh God.
Ooh, I mean, is it?
I don't know. That's a brain buster.
That's a brain buster. I'm going to go ahead and lean on I don't have any idea legally because also, by the way, really weird that picture of them in a swimsuit because that's literally all I did as a kid.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, then anything is considered child porn in that scenario because then you could get like a fucking magazine for like kids bathing suits.
There's so many issues with that, but obviously I think that the people
Go to the
who
beach. It's
yeah,
a
I mean, listen,
playground.
there's parks, like they're all over the place. I'm like just giving like a list. I'm like, if you are into child porn, like,
There's kids.
Listen, let's do the TikTok of like places to look if you're into kids. All right, it took a turn, but I will say legally, I have no idea what the rules are there, except for the fact that people are like gross.
Right.
And then on the flip side, I would say that encouraging, just like involving that at all, just feels wrong, and I don't know exactly why.
Yeah.
It is you. I'm all about like your body, your choice, but
when you were like 7 or whatever,
it also like you're just kind of like encouraging this random probably guy. Sorry, you made the rules. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Are women into child porn?
I'm sure there's like a woman, and statistically,
yeah.
there's like it's mostly majority men.
It's got
just like everything else. They're not.
They've got the market cornered on being into. We can never break in, and this is where we. Okay.
Yeah.
Too far.
There have been some female school shooters, though.
We're getting there. We're getting there in terms of equality, but we have a ways to go. Point is, well, that's my answer. Is I'm going to lean no. What is your answer?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know. Like flip flop. I guess I would go for no.
I guess how much money are we talking? That's a very important question.
That too. Or it's like, what if I'm like paying for college by sending people some photos of me enjoying a fucking sandcastle? You know what I mean?
And they're like, she's so cute.
Yeah.
Wow, this is the vibes. I told you they're off. Like, you came into this pod and the vibes were off.
Well, I had to do something because this podcast is gonna be mostly positive this week, so I had to tell.
No!
I had to bring up child porn in the first 5 minutes. It was my duty.
Yeah. You're right. We're going to have way too much just like niceties afterwards. So.
Okay, so tell me more about this baby.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he went to court again, got kicked out, and he's looking for at least $150K.
All right, that's doable.
Give him the money.
Just give him money. Also, David, or what's that guy's name? Grohl. What's his name? David Grohl?
Oh, yeah, I should know this. That's definitely one of those musical. You know when people like say names like that and you're like, I know I should know it. I'm going to pretend like I do.
Right.
This is a different guy.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the guy from Nirvana, the other guy, whatever the fuck his name is, and also the Foo Fighters. Fuck, it's definitely Grohl something.
Yeah. It's David Grohl. That's the name.
It is David Grohl. Okay, cool. But anyway, so their drummer passed away. I don't know if you knew that for the Foo Fighters. And then they recently did a concert where his son, the drummer's son, stood in for his dad, and he fucking killed it.
Really?
It
That's
was
so
like
sweet. This is too
crazy.
wholesome.
It was unbelievable. Like, you really have to watch this video, and like everybody listening, like you have to watch this video. Just type in like Foo Fighters, like with the son playing. I don't know. You could find it. I think his name is Shane or something like that. And it was
like a tribute.
Outrageous. Like, he was freaking awesome. Like, you couldn't tell the difference of whether or not it was his dad or him, and he's probably like 12.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
That puts a lot of more context around it. I was like, oh, this guy's gotten his break. He's like been trying to bust into the music industry.
I mean, it was like,
oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know anything about drumming, but like I could not tell the difference between
you were like,
the regular
great.
band playing and him playing, and he was so much fun to watch.
I was
so
like, cute.
I was just like supposed to be working, and I was like tearing up on my computer watching this 12-year-old
Foo Fighter.
watching the Foo Fighters.
This man who probably died of like natural causes.
No, he died of drug addiction.
Okay, never mind.
He's a rock star after all.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I'm like supposed to be on like a work call. I'm just like, there goes my hero. That's what we need, I think. I think we need a good cry.
We need a good cry.
We need a really solid cry, and then the vibes will be back.
The vibes will,
let's do it on camera. Ready?
Let's pull up the video.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not ready for that. I'm not vulnerable enough to cry in front of you guys. But remember when you cried that one episode?
Yeah, that was crazy. But I was also talking about someone who got murdered, so
That's
that makes
true.
sense.
I know. I was like, suck it up.
You were like, this is really weird. Vibes are off.
Get your shit together, man. Who cares if that guy was viciously murdered in his home?
Viciously murdered. I was reading like a letter that his family put out.
And I was just like, get it together. What are you doing?
You're like, I get that you're probably on your period, but like, this is like
together.
not a good look. Okay.
All right. Second story. This is completely different. The vibes are on for this one. So there is a lot of turmoil in the chess world right now.
Really?
Massive scandal. On September 4th, Hans Niemann, an upstart 19-year-old, beat Magnus Carlsen, the world chess champion, at the Sinquefield Cup in St. Louis, which is a tournament with a prize of $350,000.
Wow.
So that's a big deal. So first of all, this 19-year-old kid who's like barely has any experience beat this guy who's like just one of the best out there.
Yeah.
This outcome was a major upset. So there are only 10 people who go into this competition, and Carlsen had a 53-game unbeaten streak.
Whoa.
So point is a very, very big deal. That's all normal. All is well. Things happen. Cool.
Right.
So far everyone's like, yay, good job. Yeah, whatever. The day afterwards, our boy Magnus hops onto the old Twitter where he withdraws from the tournament altogether.
This is the guy who lost.
He withdraws from the tournament, which is very strange. And then he goes on Twitter and he shares a video of Jose Mourinho, the Portuguese soccer manager.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I know you don't.
Right.
I'm so glad there's so many things that are going to happen in this next couple of minutes. You're going to be like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Okay.
And the video was this, the manager saying, I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. Now, this guy in the video is alluding to scandal within the soccer world, I think regarding cheating of some sort.
Yeah. Okay.
So he tweets this video immediately after withdrawing, immediately after losing to this 19-year-old.
So saying that he was implying he's cheating.
Definitely.
Right.
And everyone was like, oh, shit! The chess masters are fighting!
What would cheating even... Like, would that be like an earpiece or something? Like,
Oh, get ready. So chess fans obviously took the video to mean that he was insinuating that he had lost because of cheating, and he has not clarified publicly the meaning of the video. But then after that, obviously people are like, double clicking there. What are you talking about? Neiman's account was privately removed from chess.com a few days after the match over evidence that he had cheated on the website. And then, which is all one thing. And then a rumor went around of the way he could have cheated at the game. They said
okay, let's hear
that
it.
Neiman had used vibrating anal beads.
What?
And chess AI to defeat the world champion.
So, like, somebody would be vibrating their anal beads in his butt to be like, this is, like, move the queen or something. Oh, my God. Well, like, here's the thing, though. It's like, okay, first of all, that's fucking hilarious. Secondly, like, have you ever seen a professional chess match? It's like,
No, I have a life. I'm very busy.
well, have you
doing
ever
literally anything
watched
else.
the Queen's Gambit? Okay, it's like fucking fast. Like, it's really, really fast.
Someone on one of the TikTok videos, I think, goes, chess? You mean Queen's Gambit, the game? Which is very funny. And yeah, no, you're right. It is really, really fast. So, but point being, anal beads, I can't even say it. Anal beads would allow someone outside of the, obviously, like the actual seats or whatever to, you know, send messages based on what the computer was telling them would be the next logical move. Brilliant. Absolutely. So helping them statistically beat him. Obviously.
Maybe towards the end it slows down a little bit, and like that's really where the strategy comes in. I don't know.
I have no idea. But Neiman was, of course, like, no, I don't have anal beads in my butt, saying how to play the game.
That's so funny.
The fact that he had to actually deny that allegation, he's like, no.
Yeah, and it's like you ask the other guy, like, did you have anal beads in your butt?
Why are we all thinking about each other's butts right now?
Seems like you might have had anal beads in your butt. I'm just saying.
Why does everyone want to discuss what is in my asshole?
It's interesting.
Yeah. Then he says, if they want me to strip fully naked, I will do it.
And cough prison style. That's fucking hilarious.
Before the game, they're just like, they're like on ESPN. They're just like, hello, hi.
That's so funny. And he's passed the coughing challenge. That's so funny.
He says, I don't care because I know I am clean. You want me to play in a closed box with zero electronics transmissions? Boring. I don't care. I'm here to win, and that is my goal regardless. So that's what he said. Then, of course, from there, people went crazy. This one company called Strip Chat, which is like some chat website. Like, it's like some adult. Obviously, you can put it together. You can fucking figure it out.
Right.
Strip Chat. We got it. Mm-hmm. They sent a letter to Hans saying, congratulations on your victory against number one Magnus Carlsen. It's a shame you're being ridiculed by the chess community for potentially cheating. Claims that you used wireless vibrating anal beads to gain an upper hand are ridiculous. I know you even offered to strip completely naked to prove to people you didn't cheat. Well... Okay. Being that Strip Chat is an adult entertainment webcam platform that receives 400 million views on average each month, I wanted to extend you an offer to do just that. Prove the haters wrong once and for all. Strip naked and play a game of chess live on Strip Chat in return for $1 million.
Wow. That's not bad. I mean, I don't know how much chess people make, but I would be like, all right.
Yeah, absolutely. I would get in there.
Yeah.
Also,
I'll cough in my...
He's not like a good looking dude. I mean, he's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's about that. I mean, he's not the worst looking person I've ever seen in my life. But
he's also 19.
Yeah, it's true.
Let him look how angry he is.
Oh my gosh, he is a rough 19-year-old.
Yeah, he's a 19 going on like 58.
I hate the way he stares people down.
It's so funny to me.
This kid ever heard of a smile?
No. I mean, he's being asked to strip naked for $1 million.
Did you ever think he should be smiling then?
That has got to be the first time a chess person has been ever asked to do that by an adult webcam site.
Yeah.
There's no way. Anyway. Apparently Strip Chat has done other things like that. They started a super PAC during COVID called Strip SPAC. They offered a job to disgraced CNN journalist Jeffrey Toobin.
That's funny.
And promised to donate $1 for every man who promised to continue masturbating during No Nut November. So this is their deal.
What is up with No Nut November, by the way?
Men are weird.
Men
They
are
love
fucking
little
weird.
challenges.
They do love little challenges. Like, I don't like. I feel like there's a big subset of comedians that do stuff like that. They're like, I'm gonna do no drinking this month, and also I'm gonna be vegan, and I'm not going to masturbate. And I'm like, do you know that like stripping yourself of things that are enjoyable will not make you successful, right?
Right.
It's just like, is it like an OCD thing?
I think it's
like,
a mental. I think it's a mental disorder.
Yeah, like
You're
masturbate.
crazy.
It's fucking fine. I promise.
Yeah, like relax.
Take it
Also have
easy.
moderation. It's because people are into extremes.
They
want the
are.
extremes of things,
Yeah.
and one way or another. It's like either all in or all out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you could masturbate.
You could
once
also
every
have
couple
like
weeks.
a beer or two.
Yeah, or a healthy relationship and have sex on
Yeah.
a semi-regular basis.
Right.
Ever heard of it? Every comedian out there?
Right. No. That's why they're so angry and bitter.
I know, but
There,
funny.
there used to be a comic. I don't know if he like moved back to California or what, but he was from California before the pandemic, and he was going an entire year without having sex. And I'm like,
Why are you going to call yourself out like that?
I know, and I'm also like, why? And he was like a pretty good-looking guy. I'm like, are you? Like, if you're not into women, that's okay. Just say so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, this is New York. Go, let it rip.
Yeah. No. Also, no one cares.
Right. It was just.
I guess
like,
we are talking about it right now, so that must be what the goal is.
maybe
It's just press.
Yeah,
It must be.
Maybe he had like a bit that was riding on it or something, and
Probably.
was like, I guess I
That
can't.
better be a good bit. Let me tell you
I
that.
know,
A
I
whole
know.
year?
Yeah. Maybe he was just asexual and didn't know it. Because I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, I am so brave. Look at me go. This is
doing
a
exactly
stance.
what I want to do.
Yeah. It's a stance I'm taking.
Right. Okay. Anyway, let's move off of that before I get in trouble. Okay. Might have already.
We've talked about child porn, and we've talked a lot about sex already in an episode that is primarily about an elderly man. Here we go.
Let's get into the elderly man.
Let's go talk about the elderly man. Let's first and foremost, Yvon Chouinard, the cutest little old man you've ever seen. Look at him. There's
Yeah,
his
he looks like the guy
wrinkles.
from Up, doesn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah.
does. He looks like the guy from Up. He looks really sweet. This is the picture from the Patagonia website right now. It says, Earth is now our only shareholder.
Oh, that's nice. Because I don't want to skip ahead here, but
Well-
he did famously give all of his money away to climate change resources, right?
Yes. So, and you probably saw the news, like the website. So obviously I was suspicious of that right away. I was like, fuck
Right.
that. There's no way that that's legit.
Who's he diddling, okay?
Who is he fucking?
Whose bikini pics from when they were 3 is he buying off the internet? You know what I mean?
Yes, it's Maze. She's trying to make a buck. Wedding's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so I did some research on him, and he's a really interesting guy. So basically, his whole thing is he hates business,
Great.
which is pretty funny when you run a company
And are like one of the most successful companies.
like out there.
Patagucci's? People
Yes.
love a Patagucci.
Patagonia. I mean, they're very famous, like, despite everything that they've apparently tried to do. One of his quotes was, I've been a businessman for almost 60 years. It's as difficult for me to say those words as it is for someone to admit being alcoholic or a lawyer.
All right.
You're such a dick, dude.
Like,
He goes,
relax.
I've never respected the profession. It's business that has to take the majority of the blame for being the enemy of nature.
All
So
right.
he's a granola
Yeah.
boy.
I mean, that's true. That's why, like, I don't know enough about this to even be saying that, but here I am on my podcast like a fucking stupid idiot. TM.
Patent pending. So yeah, step off.
But like, and you know, there are small things that you can do on the individual level, like obviously fucking recycle and shit, guys.
Oh,
but
God,
like,
yeah.
but people are always like, you know, as a consumer, we should all be vegan and we should be this or whatever, and like da da. And it's like, okay, sure, but like, what BP is who's fucking up the
Yeah.
environment? Like, we need to have like the actual companies be changing the way that they do things. Like, come on.
Use the
It cannot
straws.
be down
Use
to-
your straws,
Right.
and maybe Shein should stop like flooding rivers with fabric softener or
Right.
whatever the hell they're
Right.
up to. It's just like gallons and gallons just
Dude.
streaming.
Shein has cute stuff.
Of course they do.
It really
They're
does.
scary. I'm pretty sure Shein is the devil. Like,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. We should do. I mean, I think
We
it
should
wouldn't
do an
be
episode
the
on
most boring
Shein.
episode because it would just be like, yeah, they're the fucking worst
Yeah.
for the environment, obviously.
Right. Duh.
Shein, if you're not familiar, if you're not being targeted as heavily as we are, it is a company that makes clothes out of like baby animals or something like
yeah.
that. Like, I don't even know.
It's like
for
all
no money.
It's like knockoff stuff, and you can get it for like literally a dress for like $6, literally.
And it comes from like where are they? They're in China, right?
I assume, but I don't know.
Okay, I mean, like
Yeah.
they're definitely like using slave labor, like
For sure.
exploiting everybody. Every single person who's touched it has been exploited.
Yep.
Except for us, but even me, I feel like a little exploited. I'm like, I don't like this. And then
Why are you exploiting?
I don't know, just the vibes.
All
We're
right,
because the vibes are
yeah,
off.
Sure,
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
I'm like, vibes are off. Look at all these. There was bad energy around this thing.
Around all these
I feel
sheep.
exploited.
I used to call it Shein.
I don't actually. I could be that. I don't know.
No, I think that it is Shein because people have been correcting me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Anyway.
Cool. Well, anyway, this guy agrees that the vibes are off regarding most of business. A little bit of background on him. He was born in a French Canadian town in Maine, so he was like Quebecian kind of deal or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, he didn't speak English. So no one spoke English in his town. At 7, they moved to Los Angeles. He still spoke no English, and they threw him into school.
Oh, damn.
And he was like, I'm doing really bad at school.
Yeah.
I don't speak the language, so this is tough for me.
That would be difficult.
It
yeah.
would, yes. But so he was really, really into nature. Like, especially where he came from. Like, that was a lot of like their background was like being in the woods, being in everything around that. Then he's in Los Angeles, just like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
So apparently he spent a lot of time in like the LA like river reservoir and stuff like that, like looking for frogs and shit.
Okay.
While all of his friends were trying to like make it.
Right.
Child stars. He got into falconry at age 12.
What is this?
Falconry is with the falcons.
Okay.
It's like the
When you hold them like this and they
Yes.
come and they're like, "Meow,"
yeah.
and then, okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he's 12 and like
Yeah.
which is kind of like I'm like you're about their size.
Yeah, right?
You're a little boy.
They're going to take off with you.
You're going to get out of there. So he's like a little Renaissance boy, like a little like Ren Fair kind of deal. He then got into climbing as a 14-year-old when he met up with people from like, it was like this, what is it called? The Sierra Club, the Sierra Nevada Club or something.
Sure. I don't know.
And then also related to the Southern California Falconry Club. And basically what they were teaching him was that you could get closer to falcon nests by going and rappelling down cliffs
Oh, boy. Okay.
in nature. He's a real weirdo. This
Yeah.
kid is. I love him. Like, he's a weird as shit little boy just trying to get into eggs from falcons.
Yeah.
All right,
love
man.
that.
It's so cute. So that kind of sparked his lifelong love of rock climbing, which is kind of a theme for him. Then he like grew up obviously in the 1960s. Like that's all he did. He was kind of like one of those like climber bums, like very cool people who I could never, ever, ever, ever be. Let me tell you that.
No, me neither.
He lived out of his car. He would eat damaged cans of cat food for
Ooh.
5 cents a piece.
What?
Yeah. And he would just go like drive around and climb with his buddies.
Oh, my God.
Like-
Ooh.
And this was the 60s too. So I think that was like an even more just part of
Life.
life. Or I mean,
Yeah.
that was like a very, part of the counterculture that was
Right,
going
right.
on right then.
Cat food? You can't get a fucking... Just spring for the can of tuna at least.
Yeah. Dog food. Come on.
Yeah,
Make it to step it up. Cats are so finicky.
I mean, ew. Imagine
know.
eating their food. It'd be horrible.
No
I don't
thanks.
know. 1960s food was hilarious, though. It probably wasn't even that much worse.
That's so true.
like those
Spam.
Jello molds of like meat in them. You know what I'm talking about?
He was like, I'll take that.
I'll take the cat food.
It's
Thank
fine.
you.
It's actually not even that big of a deal. Literally at one point, so he was a vagrant kind of, and at one point he was put in jail for 18 days in Arizona, but the charge was literally wandering around with no visible means of support
Ah!
and without any lawful business.
So basically, looking homeless.
yeah, they were
Okay.
like, we don't like your vibe, get in jail.
You look. Go to jail.
Homeless.
Yeah.
Homeless. So that's kind of his energy.
What is it illegal to be homeless? I don't think so. No.
No, it's definitely not illegal to be homeless, but Arizona, I think they just did whatever they wanted at that
Oh,
point
okay.
and have continued to do so.
Great.
I don't know if we've heard, but law enforcement does whatever it wants.
I haven't heard. Yeah.
So in his extensive climbing, he would go up these hills or rock formations, whatever. I don't even know anything about climbing. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't have no idea.
rocks are, and you put your feet on the building.
And you hoist.
Yeah, hoisting. You
a lot
want to
of
hoist. You definitely want to hoist.
There's ropes involved.
And it's very uncomfortable. So he would be climbing, and I guess back then the technology, like for the equipment to climb, was a lot more rudimentary, obviously. And he was really getting angry about all the pitons that they were using.
What's piton?
Pitons are like the things you like spike into the side of the mountain.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of like use them as handholds or whatever you're doing. And at that point, they were all coming from Europe. They were made of this soft steel, and they were one-time use.
Oh, what? So you're just
Exactly.
leaving a bunch of steel all over these mountains? Yeah, I'm with them.
Yes, we see in the 1960s, they were like, what's the big deal? What's recycling?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're like, oh, yeah, definitely. That's a no. So what he did is he borrowed a little over $800 from his family, and he went to a forge, and he made pitons that were reusable. So they could be reused like, I don't know, multiple times. He could make 2 an hour, and then he sold them to people for $1.50, which is about 10 times what the other non-reusable ones cost. And they were able to be taken back out of the mountain. You would only need to take like 5 or 6 for a really long expedition versus like 300 because you were leaving them.
Right.
So it was like it's not even an invention, but like an innovation on an old invention that like was a huge improvement. He used those then to also, like, we'll talk more about this, but because of how useful they were, he was able to do some really, really long trips. Like, so he got kind of famous in the climbing world for being very good at it. He got drafted in 1962, and this is so funny. He gets drafted, which is obviously like a chaotic thing to have happen in your life. I genuinely cannot even imagine.
No, that would suck ass.
But he just gets kind of stoked because he got to use his time off while he was in South Korea to climb in Asia.
Oh my God. How much time did they get off?
I didn't think like any, but
Yeah,
I thought
I didn't
kind of,
think so
I don't
either,
know,
but-
wars happen, get back in there, but
Yeah.
that's what they referenced there. And then during this period, he met his now wife, Melinda.
Okay.
And this is a very sweet story. She was an art and home econ student and a Yosemite lodge maid. Cool. And apparently the quote about their meeting, we were hanging out in Camp 4 on a day where a car full of tough girls drove up and the driver threw out a beer can. Melinda ran over and told them to pick it up. Don't litter. They gave her the finger, and so with her bare hands, she ripped off their license plate and turned them into the Rangers.
Oh my God.
I was smitten. She's a bad bitch.
Yeah, right? God damn.
Yeah. Good for you. So they got married, and they were both obviously very, very into the outdoors. They would go hike and climb and make better equipment. It was all crafts right now at this point. And the company that he was using, or that he was selling his equipment under, was Chouinard Equipment. He would move from equipment to actually selling clothing themselves. So he started wearing rugby shirts when he would go climbing in Scotland.
Yeah.
And rugby shirts, I guess, are like way thicker, and they have obviously a collar, and that was way better for climbing. So he started making them himself, like with like specifically designed for climbing. And that was the start of Patagonia.
Did you guys wear that in your high school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, rugby. I think it was like rugby by polo or something.
We had our stupid, I wore a uniform.
Yeah.
So it was like
okay.
a uniform version of
I
that
see,
bullshit.
see.
So we didn't have like the brand name. We had like Donnelly's.
Yeah. I had like whatever was like vaguely similar sold at TJ Maxx, and everyone else had the brand name.
Yes, the one
was happy
with
with
no logo
Yeah.
by Shein.
By Shein. Exactly.
Yeah, so he started wearing those shirts climbing. They were really, really popular. And then he started making shorts, which was really funny because they were blacksmiths. Like they worked forges to make pitons. And now all of a
Yeah.
sudden they're making clothes.
Weird.
And the shorts he made were so, they were super functional, but they were called the standalone shorts because they were so stiff, they were able to stand up by
Oh my
themselves,
God.
which is hilarious. So
Did they sell well?
apparently, and that's like a big thing, is a lot of the stuff that they're doing is all about practicality. Like it's like meant to, it's not fashion, it's function.
Well, that's for sure.
Then because of the pitons in 1968, he was able to go and climb Mount Fitzroy and documented the experience, which helps kind of like bring more visibility around him. It was considered one of the world's toughest climbs. And I thought this was fun. His group carried a flag that said, "Viva los fun hogs."
Okay.
Cute.
Cute.
They're so cute. So far, they're just living like this little idyllic life. So Patagonia came around and it opens its first store outside the blacksmith shop. So they have like their equipment and then their clothing line. And by the 70s, they were doing like $400K a year in business.
Which is like, what, $2 million or something?
But I mean, it's like for like a guy in the backyard, pretty fucking good.
Pretty fucking good.
Yep. So then they found out that the climbing spikes that they had made were causing harmful long-term impact on the rock surfaces. And this was 70% of their business.
Oy, madam.
So this is kind of, I think, one of the first times that he really showed like his commitment to the environment. It was like, hey, this is making you a lot of money. What you doing? What do you do when you're making a lot of money, but also
Your morals are being tested.
correct? And he pulled out. He pulled out of pitons altogether, and he started like looking at a way to do. He needed the equipment, like the same function, but a way that wouldn't hurt the environment or the mountains. And he came up with something called hexcentrics and stoppers. Don't fucking ask me. I guess you just kind of stick them into the rock. Doesn't matter.
Whatever. Yeah.
And it's to help them do clean climbing. But the point is that he looked like at losing money, and he was like, okay, word, whatever. So by 1980s, Patagonia was making $100 million a year.
Damn.
The other
that escalated.
Yeah, I know. It got popular because
Yeah.
climbing continued to grow in popularity. The equipment was really, really, it was meant to be the best. Like that was a big emphasis for them, which I don't talk much about, but they were like, it's not the cheapest, but it'll last you forever. And it's the best.
Yeah.
Like, and it's meant to be fitting with a lot of the morals that people who are climbers like as well.
Yeah.
The other part where they made like the pitons and stuff went Chapter 11, but this was actually funny. So the Chouinard equipment branch, they went bankrupt, but they got bought by the employees of the company, and they restarted it as Black Diamond Equipment, which is still around and I think may have gone public.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like they're very, very passionate employees. So Patagonia is growing at a pretty solid rate here, like despite Chouinard's best efforts. And in 1991, the recession hit, and they were only going to grow 30% that year versus 50%, which has been forecasted. So it fucked up their finances.
Yeah.
And in the midst of the recession, they found themselves overextended, and they were about to be bankrupt. So literally at one point, Chouinard's accountants took him to meet a representative from the mafia.
Oh my God. What?
Who offered a loan with an interest rate of 18%.
Did he not take it?
He
Or
did not
he
take
Yeah,
it.
I can't imagine him working with them. That'd be like,
That'd be
he's such a sweet angel soul and he just works with the mafia.
He's like, yeah, they killed a lot of people, but
They like the
18%.
environment.
Yeah. But not any mountains. At the end of the day, he ended up borrowing from a friend and some Argentinians
All right.
who wanted to get their money out of the country. He's funny because he has a very strict moral code around specific things.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, he's like, I don't fucking care what you do
Well,
with your
isn't that-
finances. Like, whatever.
Yeah. Isn't that everybody? It's like they pick the one thing that they're super passionate about and then they shame everybody else about it, but then they do things that are...
Yeah. It's
know.
definitely not like following the letter of the law. I can kind of understand. I'm sure he was like, oh, so you're trying to not pay taxes and wherever you are.
Who gives a shit?
I don't give a shit.
No.
You know, and I kind of get it. I'm like,
I also don't give a shit.
yeah,
so.
I really don't care. I hope he like maybe did a little due diligence and it wasn't like, we're just murdering people and that's how we got just murder. We're in the business of murder.
We are hitmen
Yeah, we're hitmen.
and we're going to need to laundry our money.
Yeah, but I heard you guys have clean climbing equipment. So, and at that point, one of his quotes was, "It was hard. I realized we were just growing for the sake of growing, which is bullshit." So this is kind of like, again, he's kind of showing a counter culture. He's getting in there of what normal companies try to do. Like they always are trying to maximize growth and optimize for the highest return on investment for the people that are putting stuff in. And he literally was like, we're not going to do that. We do not want to grow anymore. We don't want to go public or anything like that. Like he was faced with the prospect of owning $1 billion company with thousands of employees making outdoor-like clothing for posers. That was a quote. And so then he took 10 of the top people from his company. They were about to go bankrupt, took them to Patagonia, and they went on a multiple week walkabout where they were going to go figure out their values. They definitely smoked a lot of weed.
Oh, for sure.
Like that's all
Probably
they did.
shrooms too.
Probably shrooms
Probably
too.
had a great time.
Yep. And then from that, that's where he decided that you couldn't be your best if you were going to be the biggest you could possibly be, which I think is like, it was cool to read about that, where I was like, a lot of companies just want to be as big as possible, but they were like, the analogy he used was there's no Michelin star restaurants with 500 tables.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like just do what you're doing at, I don't know, like especially if you're making a lot of money, you don't have to scale to be huge.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think he didn't care about the making the money part. So he wanted to have a smaller company and obviously had to make some changes because they were going through financial difficulties. So he laid off like 20% of their employees and took a hard stance to not optimize for maximum growth. So from there, he came up with his philosophy of business, which was a guide for his employees. The first philosophy was to lead an examined life. In this, like kind of basically he had all these philosophies and then I matched it to what they did to do so. He said, everything has a consequence, understand your impact. And then in the 1990s, like their quality team reviewed the potential manufacturing partners in terms both of like the quality that they were producing and also the factory employees' conditions. So there was actually an expose in the Atlantic about them like having labor exploitation in their supply chain. And they were like, fuck, you're right. Like we've been trying not to have that, and this like got around from us. So then they did one where they put a policy in place that they wouldn't work with any factory that they were not able to visit in person to check on working conditions.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's like cool because it's like, oh, God forbid that's actually sounds like the right move.
Right.
But it's so rare.
But like Nike was like, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, Nike's like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Who's to say if kids are working over there? We don't know.
How would they know?
How are we going to know? You're never going to know.
No one's ever going to know.
Yeah. The second one was clean up your act. So they were saying like you need to go and take a hard look at everything you're doing and do whatever you can to make it better. So they switched from industrially grown cotton, which is apparently the worst thing for the environment, by the way.
Interesting, huh?
I did not realize this.
Yeah.
Like non-organic cotton is horrifying for the environment.
Why? What's it doing?
So don't get me wrong. Like I'm sure there's experts out there, probably not listening to this podcast. We tell you that, but they would literally spray these like pesticides on it that were akin to like Agent Orange that are being sprayed on the cotton fields to like kill all the bugs around it.
Yeah.
And it really hurts the humans around it as well as obviously the animals.
Right.
But granted, that's kind of why they're spraying it.
Yeah.
I guess the area around those is it's like a major source of pollution, and it caused a ton of cancer and birth defects in the areas surrounding cotton fields.
Shit.
Yeah. So they discovered that by like going and taking a hard look at everything in their supply chain, and then they decided to move to 100% organic cotton in 1996 in order to avoid that, which is not that long ago. And I think that I'm hoping that they got better as a whole in this industry, but like probably not. Let's be real.
Probably not.
Third one was do your penance. So this is a big one. They decided to give away 10% of their profits to environmental causes.
Okay.
A lot of companies do that. So then in the 1990s, they decided to take it a step further and switch that from profits to 1% of sales.
Oh.
And that's a really big deal because like with profits, like you guys know some basics of accounting. It's very, very easy to just like do some voodoo magic.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, the bonuses all the profits for the year. We made $3. Here's 30 cents. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And they decided, they were like, fuck that. We're going to make it to where there's a hard line on how much money we have to give. We'll figure it out around that. So they do 1% of sales.
Okay.
And they gave that to activists. They don't like giving to big organizations. They tried to pick the smallest, like grassroots activist groups around the world. And then fourthly, the last one was to influence other companies, inspire them to cause the least amount of harm, and implement impact on environmental crisis. So this was a big thing, is that he was like getting older and seeing the impact on the environment that a lot of like businesses were doing, and was getting real sad about it. So he wanted to make a change.
What's so crazy about this story is that climate change isn't real.
This guy's just like crazy.
Yeah, he's like a wild guy.
Dementia. It'll get everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. YouTube, I'm joking.
Yeah, poor guy. So, and wealth really didn't, he obviously became super wealthy and it changed him 0%. He would still wear raggedy old clothes, drove in a beat up Subaru, and split his time between his small houses in Jackson Hole and Ventura, California. He has no computer and he has like a cell phone that he doesn't really use. He'll even while he's like running the company, he'll go fishing for 2 or 3 weeks at a time without service.
Oh my God.
And it's just like, what am I going to do if there's an emergency?
Yeah. I'm actually like really surprised by, I mean, maybe you'll get to it, but you would think that some like slick piece of shit would come in and like while he's like away and being like kind of absent-minded, like fuck up all that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He made a really big deal about hiring people with the same values as him.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah.
It's really like, this shouldn't be a shocking story. It
No,
really
it is
shouldn't. But the
shocking.
entire time I was like, where's
the corruption? Where's the
corruption? And like, don't get me wrong, they fucked up, but they would like make an effort to make it better and owned up to their mistakes. And they were like, yeah, we obviously don't want that to be a thing.
Right.
That goes very much against our mission statement. Like they had this, for instance, as a policy for the company, one of the initiatives they had was Beyond the Office, Out of the Landfill, where they announced they will no longer be adding additional logos to their products. So what that means is like, if we wanted to have Risque Business News branded gear,
Oh, yeah.
they won't do it.
Oh, they used to do. Yeah, that's so true. I think I had them for like my hockey
Yeah.
teams and stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean, it makes sense. And they were like, we're not going to do that anymore because adding
make,
logos makes it to where these are more disposable.
Right.
You're not going to pass it down to your kids if it has a logo more often than not.
Oh, I see. Yeah, interesting. I thought I was like
Yeah.
I was so literal about it. I was like, then they have to make the logos.
Yeah. No, they said like basically like if it's company stuff, like people change jobs and the extra logo makes for an awkward regift. People tend not to pass logoed gear down to their kids, and not everyone wants to be an advertisement on the weekends. So perfectly good gear ends up forgotten in the closet or gets tossed in the trash, which is so freaking true.
It's so true.
I have this beautiful backpack right now with my company's old logo.
Awkward.
What?
Yeah.
It's so annoying. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful backpack that like, I'm like, what do I do with this? I don't really use backpacks in the first place.
Throw it out.
Throw it away. But I don't want, anyway, point is I get it, Patagonia. They also barely advertise. And beyond that, they were the first company with childcare. They started a childcare program
that's
in
great.
1985.
Wow.
Wild.
Imagine working there. I'd be like, well, I'm never going to leave.
Well, to your point.
I mean, until the kid's like going to school, then maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like honestly, this company sounds fucking amazing. And a lot of people would agree. Each job vacancy has over 900 people apply for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, it's really weird how good at all of this they're able to be and how they've been able to grow at a medium rate since then, despite everything.
Right.
And I think, obviously, it's partially because they were doing an outdoorsy company. The values that they internally as a company are super reflected in the people around them. Like, I was reading all this and I was like, well, fuck you, North Face.
Right.
Good luck getting $1 out of me ever again. Let me tell you that. Patagonia, you're up.
And Patagonia is like really good quality.
Yeah.
You know?
God
People-
forbid.
People don't like, Mark has had a Patagonia winter coat since I've known him. And he wears it, and it's really good. It's like fleece lined. He loves it.
Yeah.
It's not bad looking. It's like, you know,
they're
some
meant-
of their stuff is ugly, but like some of it's not bad looking.
A lot of it's meant for like people who are using it on, you know,
Right.
whenever, I don't know about you, whenever I go like camping or hiking or anything like that, I end up in the most chaotic outfits I've ever seen in my life.
Because I'm not going to invest in like a nice Patagucci for my fucking ski trip.
No,
like,
it's just colors and socks that are just like,
Right.
it's just pure chaos.
yeah, I'm
top
going
to
down
bottom.
the green. I'm not shredding gnar on a fucking heli ski or anything like that. Okay.
No. Oh, did I ever tell you about when I did the Machu Picchu trip?
No.
This is going to sound, all right, I'm stupid. We know
go
this. My friend comes up to me and she goes, hey, do you want to go to Machu Picchu over Thanksgiving?
Okay.
I think nothing of it. I'm like, she's like, we'll go hike Machu Picchu. And I'm like, sure. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Cool. Exciting. Love it. She had this like little group and I was like, cool. I asked no follow-up details. I volunteered Matt. I'm like, Matt and I are in. We're coming.
Okay.
Tell
so
us
this
where to-
wasn't long ago.
No, this is like 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I just leaned in immediately, all about it. A couple months have passed. I don't think anything of it. I like book flights at some point. She's like, you need to be here and we leave this day. I'm like, cool. I don't think anything of it. Starts getting closer. I'm like, oh, are we gonna get like hotels? Like, what hotel are we staying at? And they're like, oh, we're not staying in a hotel.
You were hiking.
I was like, wait, what? And
Is that what was going on? You were hiking on a...
so I get the itinerary eventually sent to me, and we are hiking the Inca Trail.
Oh
This
my
bitch-
God.
I signed up for this just as an idiot, just thinking I was going to go stay in a hotel and like go on a walk during the day.
Oh my God. So you need to go to REI.
I needed to go to
immediately.
REI immediately and also think about my life for a while because I was just like, holy shit, what I'm going to do is not only fly to Peru, but then get my ass, put everything into a bag and then put it on my back.
Yeah.
And then walk my ass for 4 days.
That's
it was a 4-day hike.
crazy.
Slept on the ground. I will say this was the bitch version of this. We had the oh no, I'm forgetting the name, but it's like the Sherpa equivalent for Machu Picchu.
Okay.
These men and women were unbelievable. We
Yeah.
felt like such pussies around them.
I'm sure.
They would like be loaded up with
Yeah.
5 times what we had and like bounding up the trail. They'd beat us by hours.
Yeah.
And we were all swimmers. Like we're in shape and we were
Yeah.
like, fuck that. No, we're not.
Damn.
They were amazing. Like at one point they would put up they would like bring a kitchen essentially. And on the last night they baked a fucking cake
Oh my God.
with everything they had brought on their
Holy
backs.
shit.
We were like, we get it. You're better at life and the outdoors than us.
Man.
This is really embarrassing and I have the shits. This whole trip.
Was it good though? Was it fun?
It was one of those things that I am so glad I did it. I
Yeah.
would absolutely not have done it had I known what I was getting into.
Yeah,
Like-
I could see that.
It was at altitude. It was like 10 hours of hiking a day.
That's insane.
It was crazy. We got up at like 4 a.m. every single day. Like,
It's not going to work.
no. If you ever told me to do that, I would say like, go fuck yourself.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
We're
I'll
done here.
Sleep in a hotel. But I am glad I did it because it was like a really memorable, intense experience.
Yeah.
And what was so funny is we finally got to Machu Picchu at the end and it was raining. Good times.
Okay.
Anyway. Beyond that, so they've been kind of like this hallmark of like a green, like incredible success story company that is making money despite all of this stuff that it's doing to like do good in the world. Literally Steve Jobs called, and also the head of Fox Sports calling saying, hey, Rupert Murdoch's asking how we can make the company green. Like, how do you do that and make money? And he was like, you have a lot of other things to worry about.
Yeah, God bless.
Good luck to you. So obviously the big question that they all had for him was like, all right, the company's doing great right now, but what happens when you leave? Mm-hmm. And that's where we come to today.
Right.
So now he's getting older. And what he did was he took to his family. What actually happened is like a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2020, Forbes had a list of their billionaires. You know, they always do their lists.
Right.
And he was in the list.
Oh, that's
And
very
he-
embarrassing for him.
Very embarrassing for him. His quote was, I was in Forbes magazine listed as a billionaire, which really, really pissed me off. I don't have $1 billion in the bank. I don't drive Lexuses. So he was saying that it wasn't like
True.
in real money,
Yeah.
whatever, but like
right. We get it.
we get it.
Sure.
And his kids were also like kind of the same mind of him. Like his kid Fletcher, he has 2 children, Fletcher and Claire. Fletcher owns this like surf company kind of deal, which is very much like, eat, pray, love kind of energy.
Yeah.
And Claire works for the company. A fun story about her is apparently at age 12, they were having dinner with the Clintons, which I was like, of course.
Right.
We got it.
Yeah.
You're a billionaire, man. I don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you. And before the dinner, she went and dyed her hair orange with Kool-Aid.
Why?
Because she's funky 12-year-old.
Oh, all right.
Just a funky little girl.
Just a crazy wild lady.
Yeah. She is. There's like very little information about her out there, which is kind of cool.
Probably on purpose.
Definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
They seem really cool, like genuinely cool people.
Yeah, they just vibe.
Minus dinner with the Clintons. What are you doing there? Suspicious.
Sex trafficking from Argentina.
They're like, well, as long as the environment's not hurt, we are fine with it. So what they've decided to do from here is they would needed to figure out what the long-term plan for Patagonia would be. And they sold, or they transferred 2% of the voting shares to a newly established entity known as the Patagonia Purpose Trust. They, by the way, were 100% in control of everything beforehand.
Okay.
There was no board or anything like that. And then they took the other 98% of it and put it into a newly established nonprofit organization called the Holdfast Collective, which will now be the recipient of all the company's profits and use the funds to combat climate change.
Great.
And it's a 501c, which means it's able to make unlimited political contributions. So that means that they weren't able to receive any tax benefit from the donation.
Okay.
They actually had to pay like $17 million or something in order to
shit.
do all this, which is nothing to them. But either way, like sometimes people do these kinds of moves in order to get like a massive tax break that ends
Right.
up like making them like, you know, like you
I
like,
understand, yeah.
you know, wiggle the system around a little
Right.
bit and like
like
money
that
falls out.
charity episode we did.
Exactly. And this one was definitely not what that happened. Like what happened with this at all. Like the other example was the only other time someone has actually given away their company was Barry Seed, a Republican donor who gave away his electronics company to a nonprofit organization where he was able to make a $1.6 billion gift to them, and he made an enormous personal tax windfall from it.
I see.
And then the money used by that was working to stop action on climate change.
What?
Bear, my guy.
So funny.
Why are you just a villain? Like, what are you doing?
That's a cartoonishly villainish.
Like cartoon. Like he was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of money and stuff. And it was also like against like same-sex marriage and all sorts of like.
Of course,
he was just like
yeah.
a real bad person.
Right.
He's the only other person who's given away his company.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like,
Yeah, that's
it's,
crazy.
Like, it's so crazy to think about. Like all of these people. These guys are actually paying money to give their company to do something that they at least think, like, obviously climate change, like, and there's so many ways to get, like, recycle or
Right.
do whatever.
Yeah.
But at the minimum, they're, like, really trying
Yeah.
to combat climate change and bring everything they've worked their entire lives for to go out against it. Their kids are not going to be billionaires. They might be millionaires, but they're not, like, they're certainly not amongst the wealthiest in the country anymore. They completely
No.
given up that status.
I mean,
It's really cool.
we've said this before a million times on this pod, but I'll say it one more time. How much money can you spend in your life? Like, how much money do you need? You know, like,
What do you want? And that's the thing, is it's ego for a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking hard ass. Yvon actually calls out like everyone.
Yeah.
Like he's watched some of his interviews because he's a real asshole about it. It's great. He would literally call out like the giving pledge that all the billionaires did.
no.
Oh, it's the biggest jerk off bullshit
I'm
I've ever
sure,
seen.
yeah.
So essentially they're like, we're going to give away all our money for like the world's good causes. And he's like, this is bullshit for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, these are major issues that are facing our globe. Like,
Yeah.
like everyone. You're really telling me that we have to rely on some eccentric billionaires, like
Right.
little offshoot idea in order to stop the world's climate from like breaking down or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
or like pollutants from being just spewed into, you know, whale mouths or whatever.
Right.
So that was one of his things. And then the other thing is he was like, they're not even giving money away faster than they're making it. They're not giving money away. They're just making money less fast.
Right.
So like, why are they trying to make this sound like they're doing this like really great thing?
Well, for obvious reasons, but
Right.
I
No,
mean,
I
you
know,
know,
but
yeah, he
yes.
knows that, but like, it's so annoying.
But
Yeah.
I was like, this guy should run for office. I don't.
He's too old to run for office.
He is too old
right?
to run
Yeah.
for office.
I mean,
Maybe-
who knows? Actually, we got a fucking
That's-
corpse.
It's true. He's dead.
He's
not-
dead. Yeah.
it's-
How old is this guy?
I think he's. Ooh, I should know this.
That's all right. If you don't, it's fine.
I don't know. He's not. He is. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, he looks old as balls.
He does look old.
He's probably in his
83.
83. Okay,
Perfect
yeah,
age to get presidency.
Perfect age.
Get right in there, buddy. It's about to launch your campaign.
If Joe Biden,
Jabad.
if he runs again and wins again, then he will be 83 during his presidency. That is fucking psycho, dude.
It's psychotic.
Yeah. All right.
Well, this guy's definitely not going to want to do that because he likes to go fishing.
Yeah.
Jackson,
Enjoy
Wyoming.
fishing.
He's the
Well, you can. The world's
best.
gonna explode.
Yeah, well, not on his watch, but probably anyway.
Yeah.
I don't
right.
know. So that's the story. I know this is unusual for us. I hope it was still interesting to an extent, but like, this is
Definitely.
actually
yeah.
a good guy.
Wow.
I don't know what
Shocking.
I'm shocked. It's never happened. It will probably never happen again. This is a one-time exclusive event.
Can't wait for Epstein's flight records to come out, and he'll be the first name on it.
She's like the pilot.
He's the pilot. He's just like flying private jets all over the place. Yeah, the climate. Blow me.
He's got the Patagonia with the Epstein's logo. He's like, I mean, I had to make an exception somewhere.
I wonder if he like saw that Taylor Swift thing and was like, you fucking bitch. That's
What was the Taylor Swift thing?
Taylor Swift takes her private jet to get coffee.
Oh, yes. A lot of the celebrities just got it. Like the Khloe Kardashian got in trouble for it. It was great.
I think it was Kylie, but maybe it was Khloe
it's the
too.
same fucking
Whatever.
thing. It doesn't matter.
One of the Kardashians.
They're all one collective Kardashian to me.
Yeah. But that was fun.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye,
bye.
Patagonia. Hope you like it, and
Yeah.
we'll be back next week with something evil because that's
for
what we
sure.
generally
I'll think of a villain to
generally
counteract
dabble
this. Like and subscribe, please, and tell your friends.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.